Is GoPro footage actually usable in professional videos? While GoPros have come a long way, are they good enough? And more importantly, should you buy one for your company? That's what this video is all about. Let's dive in.
I'ma get it. I'ma get it.
In today's video, I'm gonna talk through 5 things. I will give you my troubled history with GoPros, the importance of having the right camera for the right job, what I like about the GoPro Hero 11, how to get the best footage out of the camera, and what I wish was better. I originally bought a GoPro Hero 4 Black in 2015 for a tourism project that I was filming. After filming with the camera, I was so bummed with how the footage turned out. I ended up selling the camera and vowed to never buy one again. These little cameras have come a long way in the last 8 years, but one of the reasons that the red Komodo was created was simply because GoPros just weren't good enough for professional use. So why would I buy this camera after swearing it off so many years ago? It's all about, again, having the right camera for the right job. Years ago, Casey Neistat talked about his view on cameras.
First, let's talk about gear. If you don't have money for a camera, just use your cell phone. Cell phones are great. This is my iPhone. GoPros are incredible, borderline miraculous little devices. I absolutely love GoPros, but it's really hard to watch like long videos, especially ones that aren't action videos that are shot on GoPros. Story is all that matters. Story is golden. Story is king. Everything serves the king. I hope that was helpful for you.
He said that he always uses the best camera available to him to get the shot. His point was that you shouldn't limit your story by sticking to one specific camera system. If grabbing a shot on your phone or a GoPro for the purpose of this video better helps you tell a story, then do it. Now, creating video blogs for YouTube is very different than creating an ad or a commercial for a company. So I think the understanding needs to be that you need to choose the right camera for the right shot, and that's super important. That's what GoPros are known for. Putting a camera in a position that isn't easily accessible or a place you wouldn't put a high-end camera in. For me, I bought this camera specifically for a side passion project. As much as I love working with cinema cameras or mirrorless camera setups, they can be a little cumbersome and they can limit getting the shot. I wanted an easy camera to be able to start filming some family adventures for a new YouTube channel we're starting. So now that I've used this camera for a while, what are some of the things that I like about it? Well, first off, the camera has come a long way since the Hero 4. The camera design is much nicer, and the fact that you no longer need a water housing to get those underwater shots is a huge help. I've been taking this camera out on a bunch of adventures with my family, and simply being able to hold it by the tripod mount to get all the shots has been super helpful, and that comes to another thing, which is the in-camera stabilization. You're able to get pretty close to what a gimbal looks like with just walking with it, which is really impressive. The camera also has a wide range of resolutions and frame rates. You can film in 5.3K resolution up to 60 frames per second. You can do 4K in 120 frames per second, and in 2.7K you can get all the way up to 240 frames per second. You can even film in an open gate 4:3 ratio, which gives you more versatility and allows you to do both horizontal and vertical footage, depending on what kind of video you're editing. The audio is actually not that bad from the internal mics, and in certain situations, it's probably actually usable. Lastly, the image from this camera, when you're using good lighting and the flat color profile, actually looks pretty solid. There were definitely some shots that have impressed me with the color and their look. So how can you get the best footage out of this camera? First and foremost, you need to manually adjust the settings. If you use all the settings that come right out of the box, you may get a few good shots here or there, but it will really limit the overall quality. Here are the settings that I've been using so far. I've been filming in 5.3K resolution in open gate 4:3 ratio at 24 frames per second. Now, something I discovered while preparing for this video is You can't actually get a 10-bit color profile in OpenGate, so I will likely start filming in the 16:9 ratio with the 10-bit turned on. Then, similar to a regular camera, if you want the most cinematic and high quality image, you're going to want to set your max ISO, set the shutter speed, and that will give you a more natural motion blur, which if you're out in a lot of light, you're going to need to have a neutral density filter to actually achieve that, which we haven't purchased yet. Now, I prefer using the flat color profile over the other ones because it looks more natural and it saves some of the dynamic range. And lastly, I'm almost always using the linear lens option, which is 19 to 39 millimeters, because it feels a lot more neutral than the super wide angle one. Ultimately, the more you can set the ideal camera settings, the better the image will be that comes out of the camera. So what do I wish was better about this camera? Well, first is the color profiles. I would love to have a log color profile. That saves much more of the dynamic range and will make it a lot easier to manipulate the color of the image later. The next thing would be a different lens option. So instead of having that 19 to 39, even having an attachment that would give you more of like a 50 millimeter or a normal lens would be really cool for some of the shots we want to do that don't need to be wide angle. In conclusion, while this camera was obviously designed for the average person and not the professional, I do think that, like I've said before, it has come a long way from where it used to be. Depending on the content that you're creating, I think this can be a great additional tool for you and help you to get some either new creative shots, or if you're like me and just want a small camera that you can take with you and use when it's convenient rather than having a large camera setup all the time, it could be a great fit. As always, I hope that this video was helpful for you and that it gives you some insights regarding whether you should buy a GoPro or not. Make sure to check out one of our other videos over here, and please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll see you in the next video.